the way I've developed a relationship with gratitude over the past couple of years has been as thinking about gratitude as medicine, like something
Mm.
that can help us feel better and help us heal. And a lot of my current gratitude practice is inspired by Indigenous wisdom. One of my favorite books is Robin Wall Kimmerer's book, Braiding Sweetgrass. And Robin Wall Kimmerer is a member of the Potawatomi Nation, and she also talks about the Iroquois Six Nations Confederacy and how they have a really, like, their culture is really rooted in gratitude, especially practicing gratitude within relationships with yourself and with others, especially the more than human worlds. So thank you to Robin Wall Kimmerer for writing that book and sharing it with us. But in terms of gratitude as medicine, I think of gratitude as like an antidote, like almost like a tincture that you could take if you had like a poison, if a poisonous snake bit you, right? And you need an antidote to stop the poison. So the poison that I'm thinking about is shame. When you've like, think you've done something wrong or you have hurt somebody and you just become flooded with shame. And it's a horrible feeling. It feels so uncomfortable. It feels really scary too, because a lot of us have been raised in a punitive culture where you do something wrong, you get punished for it. And so it can be really scary to acknowledge that you made a mistake, or to see that you have hurt somebody. And shame is really paralyzing. It's hard to do anything else except feel that shame. And a lot of times we want to escape from it because we don't know what to do. But so I've been learning about how gratitude can be an antidote to shame. And so what that means is that when you're feeling shame, if you can find something to be grateful for, even if you're not feeling grateful, if you can find something to start saying thank you for, then especially if you can find a way to be thankful for yourself, maybe thankful that I realize I did something wrong, or thankful that I can see the impact of my actions on somebody else. That can help alleviate the shame and help you to not be paralyzed by it. And then this also extends to our dogs, both in terms of moving through shame, but also in alleviating stress for our dogs, because our dogs will often say no to the things that we ask them to do, or sometimes they even growl at us and set a more firm boundary, and that can be really hard to receive. And we can feel shame, like, oh my gosh, I've done something that made my dog upset, and that feels bad and feels really uncomfortable. So I've extended my gratitude practice to Muggins by saying thank you to Muggins every time they say no to me. And it could be something where I'm like, hey, will you let me, maybe they're like shaking their ear and scratching their ear. And I'm like, hey, will you let me look at your ear? And I feel like this urgency, like I want to look at that ear and make sure it's okay. And then Muggins will say no. And I have to take a step back and take a beat and go like, okay, thank you for telling me that you're not ready for this. Thank you for pointing out that maybe I'm feeling too much urgency to move through this at a pace that's comfortable for you. And to just like settle into that, like, okay, thank you for telling me I needed that information. Now I can make a change and move forward. So I want to take us through a little bit of a relaxing gratitude practice as we move out of this podcast. So go ahead and get comfortable in your seat, however that feels for you, or maybe you're laying down in bed, or you're driving in your car. And we're just going to start to take a few deep breaths. If you'd like to close your eyes, you can. I'm going to close mine. And I'm going to put one hand on my heart and one hand on my belly. And just breathe in slowly through your nose and out through your mouth. And we're just going to start by thanking ourselves. Thank yourself for being here. Thank yourself for taking the time to learn something. Thank yourself for taking the time to practice gratitude. Thank your body for being here. Thank your body for waking up today. Thank your body for feeling the way that it feels and using sensation to talk to you and tell you what you need. And if you're having trouble finding gratitude, just going through the motions and saying the words can start to shift your body into a place where gratitude might be possible. Thank your lungs for breathing. Thank your heart for beating. Thank your stomach for gurgling and telling you when you need to eat. Go ahead and take one more deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And when you feel ready, go ahead and wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and open your eyes.
That was very, I feel very at peace. I could just hear Duchess snoring and it made me feel grateful for her.
Thank you, Duchess.
I find it comforting, her snoring.
Yeah, that is super comforting.
That was, I think we should do an afterthought on this topic, to be honest, because I think we can talk a lot about it. But to just wrap up, there's two things I'd like to share. One, we obviously hear the word gratefulness a lot in modern day, kind of like thrown around and in a good way, but also I think it can be difficult to anchor on to what that really means.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that you like brought a way for us to be solid in practicing it, because I think like it can feel overwhelming when you're just like, be grateful or think of gratefulness or the second piece I also want to say to people out there listening who may have trouble practicing gratitude or getting started, as someone who struggles with depression, like I really struggle with gratefulness a lot, especially when I feel depressed or am in depression. Thank you, Duchess, for alerting me that someone's home. See, I did it right there. But what has been a breakthrough for me in those moments is to just start listing off like simple things that I'm grateful for, and external things like I'm thankful for the sun, I'm thankful for the tree because I wouldn't be able to breathe without it. Things like that. Like once you start rolling, it rolls. And I definitely felt that in this exercise with you, Sharon, as well. Like
Right.
once you get it rolling.
Yeah, like it's like
So
a
thank
snowball.
you.
You're welcome, and thank you.
All right, so that wraps up our season 1. Stay tuned for season 2. Be sure to follow us on Instagram for updates.
And check out our subscription on Spotify for all the care tips and afterthoughts.
Yeah, and thank you to everyone who's been listening to all of our episodes. We're so happy to have you here and following along.
Yeah.
And we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.